What's going on, everyone? It's Riley, and I'm back with another comic haul. This is going to be it's not everything that I ordered in April as far as Western comics goes, but it's everything that I've received thus far as of the couple weeks into May that we are. Of course, we're still in the middle of everything where things are being delayed, so there's not a lot of new releases, and also the post office and all deliveries are kind of delayed a little bit, so things that I've ordered weeks ago are still waiting in transit. So I've got a lot of stuff that I was hoping I would have to talk about at this point during this video, but I'll just wait until they come in and do another video later on. So more stuff to enjoy, basically. So I'm going to dive right in. I've got a bunch of cool, just different things. I've kind of taken advantage of the situation where there's not a lot of new material coming out and use that as an opportunity to catch up on some older stuff. So I have a bunch of older releases and just catching up on that kind of stuff. So let's look at those. So let's see. First, I've got, this is an interesting book. I kind of missed this one when it first came out. And I was happy to see that it did get released when I eventually caught up and realized it was out there. And that is this paperback, Marvel Knights Daredevil Unusual Suspects. So last year or so, I think it was, or 2018, whenever, Marvel put out a bunch of these Marvel Knights trades, these black trade paperbacks, reprinting a bunch of the Marvel Knights material. And this one is one of the few that I've picked up. For Daredevil, it's the only one I have because Daredevil, of course, around that time was like the Casada stuff and the Bendis stuff. And they did a few reprints with that material as well. But this one in particular was interesting to me because it kind of fills in the gaps of the run where, of Bendis's run between like all that stuff. If you look at the Omnis, there's a few issues that are missing. So what does this collect exactly? Daredevil Ninja number 1 through 3, which I believe that miniseries is actually written by Bendis, but it wasn't included in the Omnis. Daredevil Spider-Man 1 through 4, Daredevil 20 through 25, which that one I believe is the Bob Gale storyline that's omitted from the collections and stuff. And then numbers 51 through 55, which is the David Mack material. And then Spider-Man / Daredevil number 1. So a pretty good amount of material, nice thick book, $40 volume. I got it for a significant little discount buying it online, and I'm really happy with the purchase. It's a really nice book and something that I think is really nice companion if you're reading through all of the Marvel Knights Daredevil material. This is a nice book to have along for the ride. Now this is a much older book, but also Marvel Knights, Ghost Rider, The Hammer Lane. This one, I was just kind of filling in some blanks in my Ghost Rider collection. I've never read this, but this is by Devin Grayson, who was the writer. Most known, she did a pretty decent-sized run on Nightwing, and she's done a few other things here and there. But she's joined here by Trent Kanuga as the artist, and it's a 6-issue miniseries about Ghost Rider that's published in Marvel Knights. This was from before the Garth Ennis miniseries, the 2 miniseries that he did. So just fill in some blanks, grab that. I'll have to read this pretty soon. I haven't heard great things about it, but it's a short miniseries. I'm sure it'll be fun at the very least. The next 2, these are kind of part of a bigger bunch of books that I elected to buy recently. I wanted to buy a bunch of Punisher stuff. I really do enjoy the character of the Punisher, and I own like all the Omnis that have come out, almost all the Omnis. I don't have the Back to War because I'm not really interested in that volume in particular. So I have all those Omnis and stuff. I have the Ennis, I have Remender. I've read everything from Remender forward, actually from Fraction forward. And so I decided, I'm going to fill out my collection, buy some of these things. So here's a couple that I bought. This one's just a mini series that came out around 2013 or so. Punisher Nightmare. Did not read this when it came out, but I found it for really cheap, just for like $4 or something. So I figured I'd try it out. It's written by Scott Gimple, who was the showrunner on The Walking Dead, and has Mark Texeira doing artwork. So of course, Mark Texeira on artwork, especially for Punisher, is always a fun thing. So I'll look forward to reading that one. It's just, I think, 5 issues, so quick little read. And then the other Punisher book that I got this time is the Epic Collection Volume 2, Circle of Blood. So I wasn't interested. I probably would not for completion's sake, I probably would buy the first Epic Collection, but as far as that Omni goes, it's basically all of the pre-Circle of Blood appearances of Punisher, and then the Circle of Blood miniseries itself. So this collects Circle of Blood, which is Punisher Volume 1, 1 through 5. It also has the first 10 issues of his ongoing series from 87, Daredevil 257, Marvel graphic novel Punisher Assassin's Guild, and this is Epic Collection Volume 2, you can see back there. So I bought this one. I've got the other Epics on the way, so they're just in transit at the moment, but I really like the way that the Epics in general look, but I like the logo, how they did black text with the white outline for Punisher. It's a really nice touch. I think it looks really nice. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I've never read any of the classic stuff. I've never read anything from Punisher volumes 1 and 2, and from the first volumes of Warzone and War Journal either. So this is going to be, this will be fun for me to get to when I do get to it. And speaking of Epic Collections, I got a couple of Iron Man Epic Collections. I picked up Epics Volume 10 and 11, and that is, this is The Enemy Within and The Duel of Iron. This is issues 158 through 177 in annual number 5, and then 178 through 195 with annual 6 and 7, with material written, both of these by Denny O'Neil. So I had missed out on these before, because originally my plan was, so I've had, because I'm a big fan of this run, I've had this omnibus forever, since it came out. And I'm a big fan of this run. My original plan was just, I'm going to buy this, and then I have this, and I'm just going to buy the Epics for when Layton and Michelini come back, which happens, let's see, we've got this is volume 13, Stark Wars, and volume 14, The Return of the Ghost, collect their later run. And then I also have on the way, and this one's been in transit for a while, so fingers crossed it's not lost, because it is a little bit more rare. I have the Doom Epic Collection on the way as well. So I think that was volume 12. But yeah, I got those, and then I was looking at the ones that are out there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fill that gap, because this the omnibus goes from 115 to 157, which means that volume 10 picks up directly after that. So we got 10, 11, and then, like I said, I think Doom is number 12, and then we have 13 and 14, and then number 16. So we're missing, unless Doom is 15, I don't know. But we have number 16 as well, which is John Byrne's entire run, War Games. And then I also picked up, because this past month, April, we were supposed to see the release, I think it was April or March, whenever, everything's kind of blending together, the release of the War Machine Epic Collection, which would basically be the material from here, plus a little bit more, minus a couple issues at the front of this one. But I've had this book for a long, like 10 years or something. I really enjoyed it, and I was like, oh cool, the Epic Collection's coming out, I'm going to buy that whenever it does. And I'll have to hang on to this, because it has a couple of issues that are not in that one, until we get the corresponding, because I think that one is Epic Collection 18, so we would need 17, basically. Now my head's just everywhere, so I'm kind of rambling at the moment, but that inspired me also to be like, you know what, I know there's ongoing War Machines, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the War Machine Classic paperback from a while back. I think this one was from like 2010, so this one's been out for a little while. And I know it was it's labeled as volume 1, but as happens often, a volume 2 never came out. So, but I bought it anyway, because it was cheap. It was like $8 or something like that. It collects the first 7 issues and the ash can of the War Machine ongoing series. The next 2 issues, 8 and 9, are part of a crossover, and I'm sure that crossover will be collected in an Iron Man Epic, so I decided not to go back and purchase the volume that contains the Iron Man War Machine crossover. So that's all the Iron Man stuff that I bought. It's just, I enjoy the Epic collections, because they are so nice looking on the shelf when you have this nice uniform stack of books, and this is minus the new one and minus the Doom that I have on the way, of course. Because I know not everything is going to wind up getting an omnibus, and while I wish that we would get a second Michelini and Layton omnibus. This is a nice, really good looking, affordable placeholder until that eventually maybe happens. So yeah, I've got a lot of Iron Man reading to do because I have not read any of the stuff past that omnibus. So that's going to be fun eventually. And I've got one more older book. Now, this is one that I'd been kind of eyeing for a while, and I finally saw it for a price that I thought was good enough for me to jump on. And it's one, I know it's really divisive. A lot of people that I've seen are not fans of this run, and there's some people who really do like this run. So I thought because of the creators involved that I'd take a chance on it, and because it was at a good price, and that's the Justice League Detroit era omnibus. So of course the Detroit era, I believe this is directly preceding the International run. This is right before that. Now Jerry Conway is listed as one of the primary writers on this one, but he's also listed alongside J.M. DeMatteis, who is one of the writers along with Keith Giffen on the International run. So I'm intrigued to try this out. It's got some interesting characters that I'm a fan of. I know this is when Aquaman was kind of front and center in the team, so I'm intrigued in that manner as well. The book itself collects Justice League of America 233 to 239 and 241 to 261, Justice League of America Annual 2 and 3, JLA Classified 22 through 25, JSA Classified 14 through 16, DC Retroactive, JLA the 80s #1, and Infinity Inc. #19. So there's a pretty decent amount of material collected in this book, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to read it and see what I think about it. I always feel that way about divisive runs, and I really like that the spine matches with the design on the International volume. It has the same kind of instead of a red stripe like the International has, it has a big blue stripe down the middle. So that's a pretty cool motif, make it look good on the shelf alongside that other one. And of course, it hasn't been canceled yet. We're still looking at getting that second International omnibus. So having all of that together is going to look really cool. And then I got 2 new release books as well. There were several new releases that were available at various places. I waited basically for in-stock trades to get stuff, and I still have another couple of new releases that I'm waiting to get in. But the 2 that I have right now were Baltimore Omnibus Volume 2 from Mike Mignola over at Dark Horse. This collects the second half of the entire Baltimore storyline. I haven't read the first omnibus, so this is going to be nice to read all at once. And then of course, Amazing Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski, Volume 2. This one is also a very divisive volume. Most of the material in here I absolutely love, and that's why I had no qualm in buying this volume, because it contains the latter half of a Spider-Man run that I love. The story itself in One More Day, though, not great, but you know, I'll take my lumps. And One More Day led towards Brand New Day, and I'm kind of a Brand New Day apologist. There was a lot of great stuff that spun out of the Brand New Day era of Spider-Man. I would love to have a set of Brand New Day through Dan Slott Spider-Man omnis, but in the meantime, I just have all the thick paperbacks that they've put out on my shelf. But I was really excited to finally get this run in Omni. I never owned the oversized hardcovers. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I had the Best of Spider-Man 1 through 5 plus Civil War and the other and Back in Black and all that stuff, so I really don't need the omnibus. But me, I did not have those. I only had the paperback, so this was a cool way to upgrade and have everything looking more in line on my omnibus shelf as far as Spider-Man stuff goes. So yeah, that's all my new releases. That's all my new acquisitions as far as Western comics go throughout the month of April and the beginning of May. Like I said, I've got a lot of stuff on the way that I'm excited to get in and talk about and stuff like that, but it's just a matter of time. Things are delayed. I know it is what it is, so I'm just gonna wait, and as soon as I get some new stuff in, I'll go ahead and make another video to show off. If there's anything that you have any questions about, please let me know in comments down below. Let me know about stuff you'd like to know more about, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can. Until next time, y'all stay classy, and I'll have new videos up for my recent manga haul, as well as some review videos coming out for things that I've been reading. So thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.